Hey guys, welcome back. I got a message to all the single men out there and all the single ladies out there. You guys are looking for something special. You're looking to build a life together and you're struggling and you're frustrated. Well, let me tell you something. Maybe, just maybe, you're looking at the wrong age bracket. So let's get into it. Now, as a 45-year-old married man of 21 years, again, I don't have much experience with the modern dating world. However, I get in my feed quite a bit of red pill content, or AKA peak masculinity, as I call it, or as some other people would put it. Now, these content creators, there's some truth there to what they're saying, but for the most part, it's a lot of propaganda. Okay, it's taking small, little, tiny snippets of stories about women and applying it to all of them. Okay, they're applying one woman or 10 women's problems in their 20s, and they assume that every woman out there is the same thing, and they're not. Okay, there are good women out there, but women these days, they want to succeed in life. Okay, they're sick of depending on a man. Okay, and what they're doing is they're going to college. Okay, they're going to trade schools probably as well. They're being successful in their 20s. They're building their careers. They're building what they need to be independent. That is the reality, guys, and that's not going to change. Okay, so what does that mean? That means we have a different worldview now for men in their 20s. Okay, it used to be men in their 20s would meet a female, probably in her 20s. They would meet, maybe at a bar, restaurant, friends, party, whatever, meet, go on a few dates, get happily married, maybe divorced in 20 years, who knows? But it is what it is. That's how people would used to meet in their 20s, okay? And they would hopefully live a life, a great life, where they could raise a family, buy a house, have the white picket fence, so on and so forth. But that's all changed, okay, guys? You got to change your outlook on things and maybe even look into a different age group, okay? According to the red pillars, women, they're not looking for a man in their 20s. They're kind of partying or they're in their career, so on and so forth. Some of that might be true. And so for men in their 20s, it might be a lot harder for you to find a woman who's interested in her 20s, okay? Because I bet you most of them, they just want to build their careers, guys. So that means that you might need to wait, okay? And for you, that might mean settling for an older lady or an older woman, okay? Maybe a woman in her late 20s or in her 30s, early 30s, okay? I had children when my wife was at the age of 34, okay, and 38. You can have children in your 30s. It's not a problem. I don't really understand why all these red pillars just can't stand the fact that you can actually start a family in your 30s. Oh no, that would be so horrible, wouldn't it? You know? And you see them doing these reaction videos on these women that are really sad. They're looking for a partner in their 30s. And then the red pillar always assumes that this woman messed around and this woman is trash, blah, blah, blah. And they don't even know her history, guys. They don't even know it. Why would you assume that this person's trash? Maybe they've had a problem in their life. Maybe they had a boyfriend for 5 years and it didn't work out. You know, does that make that person trash? No, man. Lots of things happen in people's lives in their 20s and it doesn't mean they're trashy by any means. They could be the nicest, great woman in their 30s. And guys, in your 20s, you could be missing out on great opportunities. Maybe a woman who makes more than you, right? And who could maybe even support your dreams in your 20s, right? So don't think of it as settling, in my opinion. It's not. Like, maybe it's an upgrade, to be honest. If women in their 20s aren't interested in you, maybe your opportunity is to go find the ones in their 30s, because now they're serious and now they want to build a life together, and you can get your life started earlier in your 20s rather than in your 30s. So take that into consideration, guys. If you're looking for a partner, you want to meet that love of your life, consider the ladies in their 30s, okay? You want to build a family, that could be a thing. And then vice versa, guys, okay? Gals, I mean. women in your 30s, the ladies who are complaining on these TikTok videos that they can't find a good man, maybe it's just right in front of you, you're not looking the right direction. Maybe you need to consider men in their 20s, maybe not early 20s, you know, maybe a 20-year-old is probably a little too young for you. He probably is a little too much immature, but hey, maybe a guy in their, you know, mid-20s, 25, 26, maybe 23, 24, you could go with that. You know, maybe somebody who's driven, who's excited about life, and who's open-minded about a 30-year-old, okay, who understands what I'm talking about is the fact that you can start a family in your 30s. You can live a great life together, even if you're, you know, almost 10 years difference. You know, these are the things we gotta focus on. We gotta get the birth rate up, guys. You know, everyone's complaining about the birth rates, even the red pillars, but they're not providing solutions. They're just providing garbage propaganda, talking crap about every woman that they're trash. And they're not, guys. They're not. You just got to learn to communicate a little bit better. You know, I'm not the best communicator either. My wife and I don't have the perfect marriage. There is no such thing as a perfect marriage. Okay, women do have access to smartphones. Now, my wife doesn't really use hers that much for social media, but she does for like the news and other things. So she's on it as well. But it's just the reality you got to deal with. You got to have open conversations about these smart tools that are out there that most men are struggling with because of the red pillars. All they say every single time is the smartphone, the smartphone, the smartphone, which is true. You know, it's true. It is a problem in our society, but it's not just women, guys. Men have problems on these things too. You just got to talk about it, you know, and be open to, hey, there's all these ladies who want to find a good husband. If you're a good man, in your 20s, you got an opportunity. Or in your 30s, guys. If you're in your 30s and you're lonely, the loneliness epidemic is at like 56%, according to some studies in 2025 now. Guys, you don't want to be lonely your whole life. Honestly, swallow your pride a little bit. Both women and men. You guys got to swallow your pride and just, you know, deal with it that this other person is not going to be perfect. You know, now ladies, you know, ideally in your 20s is when you want to find a good man because he's not influenced by the garbage propaganda, the red pill propaganda. He's going to get influenced really quickly. I mean, you know, maybe probably in his mid-20s when he's had a few fallouts, a few breakups, he's going to find these red pill content and then he's done. He's done. He's walking away, or MGTOW, whatever you call that crap. These acronyms I've never even heard of. They're silly, to be honest. You know, there's some validity to a little portion of them. It is good to, you know, be successful as a man and just be alone and build your skills up, build your money up, build your savings account up. That will position you better for a good woman out there. No doubt. You got to lever yourself up, but it doesn't mean you have to walk away completely. That's just ridiculous, to be honest. I was 20 years old when I met my wife. I was 24 when I married her. Sorry, I'm getting a little old, right? Yeah, 2004. I was 24 when I married her, and I've built up my skills and built up my money all while being with my wife, guys. You can do it, okay? You just have to have good, open communication with that person you're with. And if it's not the right person, you move on. You go find that 30-year-old woman that's looking for what you're looking for in life. You know, you want success, you want wealth, you want everything that, you know, people strive to have in this country. There are people out there that are looking for that. You just got to find it. And you're not going to probably find it on most of these dating apps, guys. You got to get out there. Go to trade shows, go to business shows, go to, you know, things where you can find people who share the same values. Maybe you're a runner. Go to a running club. Go start being part of those communities. There's women out there that are probably part of those communities and want the same things as you do. You know, you can't just do it on the phone. Everyone's at fault for just using these stupid phones and swiping left and swiping right. That's the problem in general. And it's both sides. It's not just ladies, it's men too, guys. We're the ones who started it. We're the ones who created all these apps, you know. So, you know, we can just blame ourselves in general for the problems in the modern dating market. So, but you got to think differently these days in general. It's not the same as when I was 20 years old. It just isn't, okay? It's a different market. It's a different world. You got to compete, okay? You got to be strategic. Be strategic. There are good women out there that, hey, they may just be interested in a 20-year-old. Even if they're not as successful, they might be. You know, they might really want to start a family. And you got to be on the same page about you building up your skills in your 20s or in your 30s. And that woman, if she's already established and she's already built her nest egg, hey, you know, that's an opportunity for you to build a family. That's what it's all about, guys, is building a family. So, and you're never going to do that listening to red pillars or masculinity content. You will never build a family. You can forget it. You might as well just stop even watching it. You might as well stop watching it and just be single the rest of your life, because you don't need to watch it anymore. You don't need to like rev it up, because it's pointless. You're not interested, right? And then, you know, you'll just end up alone, and, you know, hey, you can enjoy yourself alone, I guess. You know, it is what it is. But, you know, for the guys out there who want to build a life, or the gals, take this advice from me. You know, stop being so picky. Start looking at yourself, looking at what you want, and you'll find that person, okay? And you might need to look in another age bracket, to be honest. You know, everything's different these days. So anyways, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Again, I'm no relationship coach. I can't tell you what to do, when to do it, how to do it. This is just my thoughts in general, and I'm just sick of seeing the red pill stuff. I'm going to counteract it a little bit, because I want you guys to build families, man. Families is where it's at, man. I love it. I would not do it. I wouldn't change a thing. Let's put it that way. I wouldn't change a thing. And I feel bad for people out there who are struggling, you know, so I want to give my 2 cents. You know, I think I can do that. So anyways, let me know in the comments below what you think. And if you guys could like and subscribe to the channel, take a look at my previous video, and everyone have a great day. Good luck out there. Later.